Hi, Jenny here. Today we are going to make some creamy carrot ginger soup. Let's get started. For this recipe we are going to need 2 pounds of carrots, 2 onions, 8 cups of vegetable broth, 2 cans of coconut milk, 3 tablespoons of grated ginger, 2 cloves of garlic, about a tablespoon of butter, salt and pepper to taste, and about a teaspoon of olive oil. First we are going to prep our ingredients. So I went ahead and peeled the carrots. I've got 1 to go. So we will peel them, and then, so can you see it over here? I have my bowl in the sink to catch the peels. We'll cut off the ends, and then we will cut the carrots into small pieces, almost kind of like quartered, because we want them to boil quickly. And then we'll cut them. We're gonna mash them. We're going to cream them. We're actually gonna put them in the food processor and cut them up that way. But so the smaller carrots, cutting them in half like this should work fine. Some of the bigger carrots I will probably quarter. So I'll make those a little bit bigger. We'll make those a little bit smaller. Again, kind of like other vegetables, like when you're making mashed potatoes, or I just put out a video, I made some mashed cauliflower. We're going to start off with the pieces smaller, again, so it doesn't take too long for them to cook and get soft. Add all our other ingredients and cream it up. Have a nice creamy soup. I have never made carrot soup before. My friends have made squash soup, and I don't even think I've ever gotten around to tasting that. Anytime we've had a potluck type thing in the fallish, I know my one friend usually brings the squash soup, but there's always so many other things to eat that I haven't gotten around to tasting that. So maybe I will try one of those soups too. Again, this channel is about basically just trying recipes new for the first time anyways. Obviously being, you know, some foods that I know I like, and then there are other foods that, like, you know, I like carrots. I eat them just cooked like this, or I eat them raw in a salad. But then to try these types of foods different ways, like creaming them up in a soup, as opposed to, again, usually I've cut them up and just had them in a soup that way. But we'll see what kind of new recipes I try this year, trying stuff different ways. All right. I will chop the rest of these up, and we'll come back when we do the next ingredient. Next we will move on to the onion. So I had 2 onions. One of them was kind of big, and this one's kind of small. So I had this one in the house, and the recipe is basically for like 2 medium onions. And so I thought, well, I had a small one, then if I get a large one, that would kind of equal out to 2 medium ones. So with an onion, obviously it has skin on there. So you want to take that off before you chop it up. And again, we are just going to dice this into smallish pieces. Just a normal diced onion. I already cut the big one up and started making me cry a little bit. forget, I'm always so loud on the chopping board. Oh, whenever I'm making soups or whatever on the weekend, or I'm chopping up vegetables, if Wayne is around to help, he offers to do the chopping because I chop loudly. Kind of goes the ding ding ding, and he's like, oh, it's just kind of like nails on a chalkboard to him. I try to cut softly, but sometimes that doesn't work. Gotta get the job done. I know chefs, they always like leave the tip down on the cutting board, and they can just go zoom, 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 zoom. I've tried that different times, and it's like, yeah, sometimes it cuts the vegetables nicely, and sometimes it doesn't. You should try some of those hacks of onions that not make you cry. I think one of them is either like having a wet rag or something down by the onion. It's just one of those things that when you cut onions, it might make you cry. It's part of cooking. Take some of these center pieces out, just because otherwise they might be a little bit too hard. And then that's the onion. Here's the skin. I'm trying to do these in order of kind of like stickiness slash messiness. Garlic is very sticky when you cut it. And ginger, we shall have to see. Maybe. Oh, should I try that next? I could try that next. Now let's do garlic. I've got a bowl for the garlic. So the garlic also, when you buy it, it usually comes in a big bulb, and each of the cloves that come off of it, these are cloves. So we have 2 cloves of garlic. Sometimes they're bigger, sometimes they're smaller. Again, you can use what you think you like in a recipe. Usually I don't mind garlic. So sometimes I add a little bit more. When you have fresh garlic, it also is going to have more flavor than if you use like a garlic powder. Or you can also buy minced garlic in the store that's in a jar. And that's pretty flavorful. I use that if I don't have any garlic bulbs around, or I want to make something more quickly. I don't want to take the time to dice up garlic. But fresh garlic has a lot of taste. So we'll see. Like I said, these are also bigger bulbs. So I'm just going to stick with the 2 today. I made a mashed cauliflower the other day, and I only used 2 cloves in that too, and it turned out pretty garlicky. So we shall see how the soup turns out. Although the soup's also going to have ginger in it, and ginger is a very strong flavor. So I'm expecting the ginger to take over the flavor. Alright. That looks pretty good. Sure, these bigger pieces are all cut up. Next we will grate our garlic. We'll grate the ginger. Distracted by I saw all the garlic on the back of my knife. I said, garlic is kind of sticky, so try to get up all these pieces. Get them off my fingers. It sticks all over. Okay. I need to go find my grater so we can grate that ginger. Okay, I have used ginger before in smoothies, and normally I just cut off a little piece of it and try to get the outside skin off, and then I just use it that way. I'm getting this all over my cutting board. So what I've seen, obviously in order to grate the ginger, we need to obviously get some of the skin off and then try to grate it. It looks like I might have some surface area back here with some of these pieces. We'll see what we can do. In any case, I know that it's going to be all blended up anyways, but I didn't tell my husband I needed a bigger piece. I told him I needed like a medium-sized piece, and so he bought this, what he could, but he didn't get like one huge honking piece. I'll see if I can do this with the peeler, otherwise I have a knife. Whee! See, like that's what's gonna happen. Oh. Yeah, with all the indents, easier probably just with a knife. All right, like I said, I'm learning stuff with this year, trying different things. Have you ever used fresh ginger in a recipe? Have you had to grate it? I know obviously there is dried ginger, but again, using fresh is usually better if you can. Again, if you can find it in the store. Sometimes we haven't been able to find it. And if you have the time to be able to get it all prepped, to be able to use it. It smells really good. Like I said, I've used it in smoothies and stuff. Has a bit of a bite to it. I think I had my daughter try one of the smoothies I made with the ginger, and she was like, oh, yeah, no. She didn't care for that one. I thought it was all right. I got this recipe from the channel The Spicy Nona. I think it's only one N-O-N-A. I'll have to double check. I watch a channel called Girl with the Dogs. Her name is Vanessa. She's in the Niagara Falls, Canada region. She is a dog groomer, and she has she grooms dogs and cats for free on her channel, because again she makes the money with the YouTube videos. And she works with the local Humane Society, so she will groom those animals when they request her to, so again that they would be more easily adoptable. She started off working in a regular grooming business and stuff, and then decided to start her own business. So her channel is fun to watch. She has the two channels. One has longer videos on it and one has shorter videos. And then her brother runs the channel The Spicy Nona. So their grandparents, they refer to as Nono and Nona. So grandma does a lot of cooking, so they have the cooking videos, and grandpa is a famous artist. So they're kind of doing the videos for their own keepsake so that they have record of, their grandparents and what they do, and also and their knowledge, obviously with the recipes, what types of foods, that they make, and how to make the food. Obviously they've probably eaten all their life, and then with Grandpa, like, he has a garden, and so he does a lot of stuff himself. He'll use whatever stuff he has around the house. Again, that's kind of, that generation grew up type of thing too, is that you don't throw anything out. You use whatever you have, and you make do, and you figure out ways to make whatever you need. So with covering up some of his plants, how he used, he grows bamboo in his yard, so he used some bamboo sticks and things like that, and teaching the grandson how to do that. He had to fix a crack in the cement windowsill, and so he showed the grandson how to do that. And like I said, he's a famous artist. He does wax figures. So they had a store in Canada that I guess just closed down, that they had some of his figures there. Like I'm trying to forget, I don't remember who he all did. I think he did Sting, and I know there were a couple other ones that were in that store. But kind of like the Madame Tussauds wax museum, how she has all the wax figures and all that, that's what he would make. And he's got, I guess, figures all over. He also would make busts of famous people, and I think those are still around, either in some hotels or... so his name is up. There's a wall somewhere in Canada again, I don't remember where. I was half paying attention. They have a video on it where they took him to go see. His name is on a wall of famous artists. And so that's pretty neat. I know with the store they were trying to either sell it to someone else, and or at least to get his wax figures into, again, another museum, so that they're preserved. Things like that. He's very good. They did a video where they had the grandson Julian and Grandma do a drawing. He put a chicken out in front of him and said, "Here, you try to draw this chicken." And they each did an okay job. You could tell it was a chicken, and then Grandpa sat down and he was just like kind of modified like one of their drawings type a little bit, and it was like boom, that was amazing. But in any case, I saw that they made this recipe on there, and I thought, well, that looked pretty good. Again, like I said, I like carrots. I figured let's try and see if I can make this carrot soup. See how it tastes. I haven't made soup in a while, so I thought, well, again, I wanted to try something different. Make a different type of a soup. So this is the one we're going to try. So you let me know if you've had carrot soup before. Been meaning to make salads this week too, and I haven't done that, so hopefully my lettuce is still good, my cucumber. I've been busy with other things. If you've watched some of my other videos, I've got my daughter is in South Korea right now and teaching, and it's going okay. Of course, she caught a cold a couple days after she landed there, which we kind of expected was going to happen, but it doesn't make it easy. She's teaching a kindergarten class. She's teaching them English, and she's got two different classes. I guess there's a morning class and an afternoon class. The morning class might be 4-year-olds, and I think the afternoon class is 5-year-olds. And the 5-year-olds, I guess, are listening and doing well, and the 4-year-olds are a little more squirmy. So she's having a little difficult time with that. She hasn't actually taught before. She observed some teaching, and one of the days that a teacher was absent from the class she was observing, they asked her to teach. They had a lesson plan for her and stuff, and she sat down. She had 2 students. They were older, in their 20s, and she went over the lesson plan with them, and obviously they did well. So that's her teaching experience, but she figured that, well, this shouldn't, not that it shouldn't be too difficult, but again, with having younger kids, that it, you know, might be a little bit easier. And then over in Korea, they kind of revere teachers. Teachers are a very respectable position, and so they get a lot of respect, and the kids respect them and things. So it was said, you know, her sister told her, and another friend had told her, is that you know, give it some time. They, I guess, hadn't really had a set teacher for a couple months, so a couple teachers have kind of come and gone. So there too, they haven't had any stability, and probably wonder how long this teacher is going to last, or so she'll get there. She'll figure it out and learn. She's got help. The other teachers there too have been really nice with her. All the teachers there have come from other places, other countries. Seems like there's somebody from the UK, and there's a couple people from, I'm trying to think, if it was Ghana, Africa, something. So they're all in the same boat. They all know what Mandy's going through and where she's come from, that you're in this country with, you know, no family. You're there by yourself and thrown into this position. So they had invited her out to eat the other night, which was very nice. So they could all talk, and I guess they told her that they had heard that she'd had experience, that she had more than what's been let on. So, all right, let's try to grate this and see what happens. All right, we'll see how this goes. I have my grater that has bigger holes in there and littler holes, and then it has a straight slicer, but we'll try these little holes, see what happens. I'll start with a bigger piece so that I don't hurt my fingers. All right, good enough. Over medium-high heat, we are going to melt our butter, and I'm also going to add just a little bit of olive oil to coat the bottom of the pan. Give it just that extra little bit of taste. Once this is almost melted, we're going to go ahead and cook our onions, garlic, and ginger until the onions get a little bit translucent. Butter caught on the back of my spoon. Alright, put our onions in there. ginger. Like the onions are getting translucent. They're taking on a little bit of color from the ginger, but we'll add our carrots now. Just cook them for a minute or two to get them a little bit softened. Okay, we'll go ahead and add our vegetable broth now. You can use either chicken or vegetable broth. I usually just use vegetable for most of my stuff. Each box of broth is 4 cups, so we are adding 8 cups of broth in here. Turn up the heat a little bit. Make it more towards high so it's going to boil. And I'm going to cover it. We'll let this go for about 15 minutes and then we'll check it to see if the carrots are like fork soft, I call it. So you poke it with a fork, make sure it goes in real easily. And we'll go from there. "15 minutes is up, so let's go ahead and check this. It's been boiling. Fork. I will catch some carrots. And I don't know. The fork's going through, but it's just a tad, just like yesterday. Just a tad not soft enough. So I will go for another 5 minutes. That should be fine. Actually, while it's doing that, let's add a little bit of salt and pepper to taste. And we'll go ahead and add coconut milk. You want to shake these cans up a lot before you empty them. I remember one time I had a can, I was using it for something and I didn't shake it up and I opened it and it was all liquidy on top, and then I got down to a more firm layer. And then I saw in the can, hear me. Then I saw on the can that it said, shake well before opening. I was like, oh, okay. That would have been nice to know. Okay. So we'll pour this in. Not bad. Felt like there's still some in there, but. Looking good. Okay, so just go a couple more minutes. All right, let's check this out one more time. I'm sure this should be fine. Boiling away. That should be fine. Okay. I'm going to turn off the heat. And at this point, if you have an immersion blender, then you can put that in there and blend it all up and make it nice and smooth. I do not have an immersion blender. And I want it smoother than just doing like a potato masher. So I do have the Vitamix. I know my mom has a Vitamix. She's made ice cream in hers. And she said that you can make soup in it, which I have not tried. The thing is, you can make soup in it. Soup gets hot. I don't know if it gets boiling hot. I think we will ladle some of this in here till it's about half full, and then we will blend it. We'll keep going. We'll have to do it probably in a couple batches. We'll see how this goes. Hopefully, it's close enough that I don't have too much spillage. Between my stove, my blender. Wasn't expecting splashing. Alright. I'll get the hang of this and then I'll become so good I'll just want to keep making soups this way. Alright, let's blend this. It's not gonna work like I was thinking. That's down all the way. Okay. I was thinking I was going to pour this in the bowls right away, but I have too much broth in here yet that it won't work that way. So let me grab a pan. Another big pot. Let's see if Looks like baby food to me, I guess. It's blended carrots. So you add more broth in there, it'll be more soupy. But alright, pour this back in. Hopefully do it without splashing too much. Alright. Not bad. I'll just mix this all back up so it's all incorporated together. Very nice, very smooth. If you can thicken it up with some cornstarch if you like a little bit of a thicker soup. This isn't too bad. Nice and creamy. So nicely blended up. All the onions, obviously the carrots. So you don't have pieces of that. Any garlic showing. Need the ginger. And it's still warm enough, it's still steaming. It's time to eat. Excellent. We will try this out. You can garnish it with some sour cream and chives if you'd like. I don't have sour cream in the house at this moment, but I do have some chives, so we'll try that. So I'm gonna just go ahead and give myself a nice big bowl. I haven't had breakfast yet, so, and it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's what I get. Gotta start getting my booty out of bed earlier on my cooking days. Alright, let's taste this. The creamy carrot and ginger soup is finally finished. This one took a while. Obviously, if I had an immersion blender, I would assume it would go faster because you just put the immersion blender in the soup and cream it all up, as opposed to my having to transfer it to the Vitamix and get that all heated up. In any case, I guess I'm like Nona that way. I utilize what I have at my disposal and I make it work. So, this is just a little warm. Hold on, let me grab a plate. It's just a tad warm. The way it was after all that goofing around, but I'm like, well, I want to try it when it's actually warm, not just lukewarm. Now hopefully I won't burn my tongue. Burn my mouth. We shall see. So anyways, it's steaming. Ooh, that's hot. Not bad. Let me try chive in there. Very carroty. It does taste like the carrots. I thought the ginger would overwhelm it. I don't have an aftertaste of the bite of ginger. I do have an aftertaste, maybe a little bit of the sweetness of the ginger. Oh, that's interesting. It could be a little bit thicker, like my first batch. Then I had all the carrots in there and I kind of dumped it out where I said it kind of looked like baby food carrots. Maybe not that thick, but this is a little bit waterier. Kind of think it could be like carrot juice. This probably tastes better than the carrot juice I get at the store. And again, it's homemade, so interesting. Well, I think if I'm going to make more soups like this, I'll have to get myself an immersion blender. Otherwise, I have to stick to other kinds of soup. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I will leave the recipe down below. Let me know again, like I said, if you've made carrot soup before or not. I will also leave the other channels linked down below. So the girl with the dog, she has 2 channels. It's the girl with the dog and the girl with 2 dogs, I believe. And then the spicy Nona. So you can check those out. I'm sure they would really appreciate that too. I know they wanted to get their subscriber count up this year. But in any case, I think that they're just a fun little channel to watch. So I'm going to go enjoy my breakfast / lunch. It's almost dinner time and give it another hour or so. But I'm going to go enjoy my soup. You guys keep it positive. Go make it a great day. Bye-bye.